Well, hello, everybody. What an absolute delight to have you with us this afternoon. So let me start by introducing you to our audience. Helena Hedblom, President and CEO Epiroc. Flavia Tata Nardini, co-founder and CEO of Fleet Space Technologies. Sami, Takaluoma, President and CEO Metso. And Donovan, CEO Maaden. How fabulous to have you all with us. Lucky you, Helena, you're sitting right next to me, so you get the first one. So I really want to start where AI is already moving the fastest, and inside those real operations, and then to work our way back perhaps to what speed is doing to that judgment, because it's a whole new mindset. So at Epiroc's scale, where is AI already changing how actual work actually gets done? And I don't mean in a pilot sort of training wheels type of way, but in your day-to-day operations.
So we started our AI journey in the areas where we have our biggest opportunities, and that's in the supply chain, to really make sure that the parts and the consumables will be at the right place in the world at the right point in time. So there we have had great support now from AI, supporting the optimization of our inventory. And aftermarket is 2/3 of the Epiroc business. It's a very important area for us. But also our aftermarket, the key to success there is our technicians and how quickly they can be trained on new technology, on new machines, etc. And here we have developed co-pilots for our technicians, so they have the latest information, the standard operating procedures, everything they need at hand always. And that has helped us to upskill our technicians quickly.
Absolutely, we will certainly be coming back to exactly that, because we've been talking a lot about talent today and also yesterday, and that's exactly where your reply sits right there. But Donovan, let me come to you from an operator's point of view at Maaden. Talk to us about where AI is making that real, tangible, practical difference today.
Yeah, well, great. Well, thanks very much for that. I think the first thing to say is that AI is not a magic wand, and it doesn't solve problems miraculously. But when you find the right use cases, you have the right data scientists, the right data that you need in order to make it work, it can be transformational. So in our business, depending upon where you are, let's assume you happen to be in the exploration department. You would be working with some of our partners here with some of their latest technologies, but you would have the ability to put data into really organized databases, to have some intelligence over the top of it, to help you determine where it is best next to poke the hole in the ground, and ultimately to be able to build much better models, geological models for what we need in order to be able to deliver today. You know, if you happen to be in one of our operations, you'd be working in a much more robust plan that probably feels a bit more relaxed than what you had in the past, because it's able to catch up and keep up to date with what it is that you do. Your set points would be easier to achieve, quite simply because we have advanced process control with AI control loops that allow us to reach those points a whole lot easier and to maintain stability in the plant. So really depending upon where you are, you would see things differently. In a head office context, you would probably be able to find your information a whole lot sooner, spend less time trying to manipulate it, and spend a whole lot more time trying to do something insightful with it.
Absolutely. I think we're really just at the beginning point here of what's possible to harness for this industry. But Flavia, let me come to you, because, as AI accelerates decisions like we've never seen before across operations, it also puts so much more pressure, doesn't it, on the things that have to happen so much earlier than they did at the exploration and investment stage. So we're seeing AI and electrification accelerate demand for minerals such as copper at a pace that the industry has never seen before. It really is quite something to behold. So that puts so much more weight on exploration decisions. When AI is used in exploration itself, what's the first thing that that truly changes? For example, is it the data? Is it the confidence, or might it even be the decision itself?
You need to think. So first of all, yes, we are in exploration, now talking about the first phase of the great journey of mining. Exploration is a complex phase because it's just so much unknown.
Absolutely.
Like what you just said, it practically means that we need to find something like 400 more copper mines similar to Escondida in the next 3 years. So more copper that we ever found in the history of humankind in the next 5 years. So what do you need to change? Like everything.
Yes.
That's the thing. I mean, that doesn't matter if it's AI, it doesn't matter if what technology. The reality is that as society, now you get to a point that you've done the same way with incremental changes for hundreds of years.
Absolutely.
And now you need a 10x, right? So exploration in AI is interesting because the subsurface is full of data. I mean, the amount of data is astronomical. So when we co-found the fleet, I wasn't sure we had to use AI because you don't have to use AI. You don't have to use ML. You have to use it if the amount of data is so big that your people cannot have a sense of it in the real time in the time that you need it. But working in the kingdom, working all around the world, we started collecting so much data that we didn't know. We couldn't, our brain couldn't do it by itself. So we live in a very special time. Like just the past couple of years, we're using ChatGPT and we're using all the technologies coming from Silicon Valley. This is now, it's happening as we speak. So there is a moment in the technology for AI that is not talking anymore. It's actually happening. In exploration, we historically have counted so much on people's knowledge, on maps, on their instinct, on their travels, or the understanding of the geology, and this is still an art. AI will not cover this art. Arts are arts. So how can you bring this tool together with the geologists and the operators to make sure that you increase the confidence? Think about the kingdom. 100,000 square kilometers of areas. Where is this amazing copper hidden? We'll find it. We'll find it. We know we will find it. But in 50 years or in 3? I think that's the key. So if you want to do it in 3, you need tools. And there is not a better time than use AI as a tool, as long as we don't think it's a silver bullet. Because the arts of understanding as humans is very, very important. So I think it's the confidence, to answer your question. We increase confidence in our choices.
And I just want to pick up on something that you were mentioning there about maps, and it sort of put an idea into my head that I thought perhaps you might be able to paint the picture for us a little more. But with these continuous data embedded into exploration workflows now, you can just picture geologists sitting around a map, and all of a sudden everything's different. So what are they arguing about more, and what are they arguing about less?
I think they love arguing, for sure, so they would not want to argue less. I don't think we're going to ever replace geologists, but a geologist that knows how to use AI will replace a geologist that doesn't. Because it is layers of data. And when you can bring it together and trust the system, you can make more informed choices. So arguing is part of the search, of hunting, of exploring. You need to bring a lot of information together. But, when we talk about AI applications, my God, guys, the subsurface of the Earth is going to be the biggest AI foundation model of humankind. Like, we will learn not just about minerals, about water, about oceans, about everything.
Yeah.
It's so exciting. Now, there is not a foundation model of AI of the world yet. It's going to happen in the next 5 years. My company, someone else's company, is going to happen. So when something happens in Sweden, we will be able to understand Chile. And when we discover something in Chile, we'll understand what happened in Canada. And this is where we're going to find not 300 mines, maybe 3,000. Or someone at BHP said to me 3 million, that I thought it was a crazy number. But I think what they were trying to say is that that's how you change the status quo.
Sami, in processing and optimization, speed is awfully seductive, isn't it? I mean, have you seen AI accelerate decisions perhaps that people haven't properly thought through? Perhaps they haven't fully understood the trade-offs involved?
I think in the processing side of the mining, it's 24/7, 365. That is what is really important. And we, together with the customers, all the time try to optimize and minimize the unwanted shutdowns or unwanted stops of the process, because we need to produce more as an industry. We all know what is the demand of the world. For the copper, for example, AI is the topic of this panel now, and AI alone is going to be requiring a lot of copper to be able to run the data centers and so forth. And for that reason, the data, there is interesting data in the exploration, but there's also a lot of interesting data for operating the equipment and running the processes. And I would think this way, that we need to identify these new sources of copper, for example, and then start to process them. We have existing copper mines that can be expanded to produce more. But I also dare to say that almost every copper mining process can be optimized to produce more. And here comes the AI. There's a lot of data in very different formats. Some of them are handwritten reports of the service technicians back in the days.
Wow.
That has been, before AI, completely not in use of the industry. And now the use cases are already there that we can utilize even that data to optimize and maximize the production volume. So that's how AI will bring more in terms of production.
Donovan, let's anchor all of this to something real and tangible right here in our backyard, because Saudi is deliberately building mining into a major economic pillar, as we've heard plenty of times today. It's not just extraction, but it is the full value chain. AI obviously is a massive part of that ambition. So when you stepped into Maaden, what looked easier than you expected, and what turned out to be just so much harder?
Well, I think that my first surprise was how much capability existed in the region. That was the first surprise. The second one was the amount of programs that were happening, doing the right things and delivering world-class outcomes. Look, I think that's something that I certainly didn't expect to find, but has become the bedrock and the foundation of what it is that we're striving for in order to push forward. I came from the view that I may have to put in a lot of those foundations, but really didn't have to. What we've been able to do is to now really choose the direction that we're looking to head in, to be able to make sure that we resource that properly in order to be able to execute the things that we want to get done. AI is a major play in probably every single one of the processes that we're looking at. There's nothing that won't have some form of AI and some form of enablement as part of what it is. Just to mention a particular example around projects, we're trying to really shorten this time from exploration to be able to build projects. And so, what is it that we can do in that realm? So we move into this world of what we would call parametric designs. Parametric designs link into a generic model of the ore body. And as the ore body starts to take shape, so does the automatic design of the mine start linking into what it is and what it is next to it. So what has become traditional linear processes of stage one, exploration, wrap it up, throw it over the wall, give it to projects, take it as a black box, do what they need to do with it, and then move it on, is now starting to blur those lines. And what that means for us is that these processes are now being able to happen in parallel. In the past, we would have thought of that as more risky, but it's not. We're able to de-risk at the same time. And what that does is it brings in speed and confidence into what it is that we do. And it means that we'll be able to bring on economic resources much quicker than what we were able to in the past.
Sami, just let me come back to you for a second. I'm just interested in where you see the particular constraints lying. Where do AI programs most often unravel during delivery, specifically in this industry?
Yeah, I think one thing that has been slowing down the development is the speed, how quickly AI has been developing in the last 2 years. So the projects that were started 2 years to utilize the AI, they were obsolete after 6 months, and then you need it.
Sure.
Concept may be still there, but that's one thing that has been a little bit slowing down or giving us a little bit headache to think that, what all can be done with the help of AI. That's one limitation. And then this is very traditional industry. That is also one thing that is good to be acknowledging. And it takes some time to get the people, the knowledgeable people, to really see that how you could be using. So it's learning away from the, like you were saying, learning away from the old and really applying the new into your thinking and doing.
Yeah, Helena, I'm interested in your thoughts on that as well, because this is a very traditional, classic industry, isn't it? And then you've got your AI, which ordinarily you'd think, well, that calls for the young'uns of today to get their head around it. Do you think that's true? Or do you think that people in the traditional part of this industry are embracing it as they should?
I think that's what I'm trying to make sure that happens in Epiroc, but I think you are spot on there. So you have the technology team they see all the opportunities, and then you have the traditional organization that are more, maybe they look at different risks and they want to be 100% sure, and they need to trust us. So I think it's a change management journey that we are into, and I think key here is that the business leaders needs to get their arms around what AI can do for them, and they need to get enthusiastic and really drive it.
How do you make that happen, though? It's about changing an entire human mindset.
Yes. So the areas where we have started, I have actually done the initiatives in the areas where I've seen that the business leaders are most eager to get going. So that was how we did it, because I think you need that passion and that you need to be curious also to embark on a journey like this, because it is complex, and if you're addressing big part of your business, of course there's also risks involved, and not trying to force it, but rather make sure that the ones that are on board can move, and then others will be inspired.
I want to come on to perhaps for some people a rather uncomfortable middle ground, which is where AI works well enough to pilot and get things off the ground, but not cleanly enough to own. But everyone's got pilots, right? Pilots are the easy part. That's where it all starts. But from an operator's point of view, Donovan, where do you feel the most pressure to move faster than perhaps an organization can realistically absorb? What have been your observations there?
Look, I haven't really found the limit of what the organization can absorb. I think a number of things make it work. What makes good AI work is when the data scientists understand the business, and when the business understands what the possibilities of AI are. When you get that, good chemistry going, then magic happens. If you combine that with simple use cases where the benefits are obvious as to what happens, then you're able to get a foothold. People really like things that are going to work for them and that work well, and that doesn't take years to develop, but rather takes weeks to develop. We are able to do something, test it, realize what the value is, understand that's good, and then grow, and then continually build on what works. Because what that means then is that when you don't get it right, and often you don't get it right, then it's easy to drop off. It's not a 6-month program that you're dropping off. It's a 2-week program that you're dropping off. And so you start to manage your risk differently, and you start to get in a cadence of change and a cadence of benefit. And the advantage for your users is that they don't get bored in the process while you develop. They're anticipating something. They get to see it. They get to test it. And if it works, it adds on to the bundle that you've got, because hopefully you're building in a structured way. So yeah, I think as long as you move to modern development methods with the new technology, you stand a much greater chance of success.
And on that, Flavia, just from when AI tools move from exploration into your regular old day-to-day workflows, what do you think creates the most friction there? Is it the technology, or is it perhaps the politics surrounding the data?
I really hope, by the way, in the next couple of years, maybe 5 years, the AI becomes normal. Like, we don't call it AI anymore, it's just the way we work. I think there's going to be difficulties. I think there is not an understanding how technology really works. You don't buy new technology, you partner with new technology. They don't succeed, they always fail. But that's the part of it. So you start bringing it into your life, and as you said, they get better and better so fast that you just need to stick with it. So even when we will have AI every day, helping understand the subsurface, connecting the 3D subsurface data to the operations, and understanding even when the entire picture will be flowing, it's not going to be perfect. Like, technology like this takes a decade to become something that we can use. So if there is something that I really want to tell you is, remember, don't buy AI. Partner with companies that you believe have got access to the latest technologies and can bring them faster. And if they fail, they keep going. That's a bit of politics and a bit of culture there. If your culture is, I'm going to start doing AI and everything will work out magically, unfortunately, it's not going to happen. Because we try to change some major things by bringing computing into this world. Our fleet, we have a constellation of satellites that we use for exploration. It kind of always makes me laugh that we use SpaceX rocket to bring satellites in the sky, and then we use geophysics data. We move it to the cloud to use AI to find copper, then we need to use for the AI. It's just a mess. Like, it's just the circle of the economy. We are in the circle of the economy now. It's not going to be perfect. So as long as we understand the partner is a word and failure is 100%, then we keep moving.
Exactly.
Hopefully.
Well, despite that answer containing lots about imperfection, I actually think it's a perfectly optimistic note on which to end this fabulous panel. Thank you so much for being with us today. Weren't they terrific?